What's up, guys? Mark is here, and with me is my brother, who you only heard his voice, but now you can see him, Mike. Mike, how you doing?
What's going on, everybody?
Okay, so we're here to discuss the Giant Bulls epic, The Last Dance.
Yes.
Everyone's been watching this. Everyone's been talking about it.
It's so good.
Yeah. Now, we're 90s kids, so we kind of grew up with Michael Jordan in the peripheral. So seeing this gave me nostalgia and also things I didn't know. So overall, before we really dive in, Mike, what did you think of The Last Dance?
Man, The Last Dance to me, it pretty much solidified that, Michael Jordan's like the greatest of all time, without a doubt, without any question, period. To me. Because like just seeing like his attitude and his like work ethic and just how he just never wanted to take losing. He took it so personal. And man, that's the thing that really stood out to me, because as somebody, I grew up in 1990. So, I was a 90s baby, but like, I didn't get a chance to see like all of Michael Jordan, like as I was a kid, to be able to truly understand like his greatness. So my guy was Kobe, because, Kobe came in around, when I was around 10, so I got a chance to see him all the way through. But just getting a chance to see where Kobe got all of his moves from and everything he did, and it's like kind of like his demeanor, how it all came from Jordan, man, this documentary is like it's definitely the greatest sports documentary that I think we've all seen on television. I think everybody can agree to that pretty much.
I lived for this documentary. I was engaged. I was obsessed. I personally have seen every episode 3 times.
Wow. I've seen maybe half the episodes, maybe twice.
Whoa.
But yeah, which is pretty good for me.
Yeah, because not just Michael Jordan specific, but the Bulls themselves have been. History has kind of paved the Chicago Bulls as they won for 10 years and that's it. We never get to the how and the why and how hard it was. It was just, history has made it seem like, because you and I growing up, our own grandpa and even friends I know made it seem like the Bulls just beat everybody because everyone was too old, and that was it. And
that's how grandpa positioned it to us.
And this documentary shows yes and no. It's one of those, it's the Kanye West thing. They were at war with themselves. Like,
correct.
There was all this inner of struggle that on paper looked fine, but turns out there was a lot more going on. So let's get into the specifics. This guy will be the longest one, because in hindsight, The Last Dance is a Michael Jordan documentary in disguise. I think they kind of maybe low-key tricked him. No, Mike, it's about the whole team. He got 3 interviews on his own during the documentary. Everyone else got like 1 or 2. Jordan got like 3 separate. You see it with the different shirts he wears.
Correct.
It's the Michael Jordan documentary. Jordan in the 90s was sold as Space Jam Michael Jordan.
Correct, which was very interesting to see, which I didn't think about that, because Space Jam is pretty much the story of Michael Jordan once again.
They kind of did steal his.
They had him out there golfing, right? Playing baseball.
But they cut out him cussing out Porky Pig and punching Daffy Duck in the face.
Of course.
Stuff out.
When they showed how he goes about practice, yeah. It's definitely not the real intensity of Michael Jordan at all.
Michael Jordan in real life, he's not a superhero. He's more of an anti-hero. Like, in this documentary, this man, every word is an F-bomb, every sentence. He has a cigar.
Correct. And all the NBA players pretty much say when he was in the league, he was an asshole.
So the Jordan Rules book, when that comes out, Jordan and his teammates dismissed the whole thing, even though it turns out to be 100% correct. Yeah, he didn't punch Bill Perdue in the face, and
because they can't show that. Oh wow, this is the icon, the greatest basketball player ever. But the reason why he's good, this is what he's doing to his teammates. Remember when they interviewed him and they asked him, were you a nice guy? And he was like, he knew it.
He almost cried because he knew.
Exactly. He started crying about it because he knew, like, I wasn't like the best person, but you know, winning like this, it comes at a price, and that was his price. Is there another way?
Yes.
He's the greatest of all time, though. We haven't technically seen a better way.
I don't think Magic scared his teammates.
But Magic not the greatest of all time.
Yeah, Michael Jordan was a very
So if I see somebody better than Michael Jordan that does it a different way.
That's how Jordan defends it. Like, it worked, right?
It's true. Oh, man, that just made me think about how when he was recovering during that Space Jam time and was wanting to practice and then sets up that scrimmage. And then he's really using that scrimmage for his advantage because he hasn't been in the league in 2 years. So he wants to learn all the players' moves. That was his scrimmage. You know that, right?
Yeah. He pretty much filmed Space. Actually, Space Jam has more in real life a connection to helping him win in the future.
Yeah, it does.
An excuse to get better and beat everybody.
They said that guy Reggie Miller, remember he said he was like an alien. He was like, because he would film all day, then play for 3 hours, then he got to be up at 6, 7 in the morning.
The craft was the most important thing. Everything else is like, whatever.
Competitive nature stems from anger.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I saw too. Jordan will find things to actually bring out him being angry, and he played better.
So I'm glad you said, because I have in my notes the LeBradford Smith story. LeBradford Smith wins that game, beats the Bulls. Jordan gets mad and makes up a story.
Correct.
LeBradford Smith insulted him just so he can beat him next game.
That's what I learned. I was like, man, being like these people are angry, literally.
They are.
And that's when they see the LeBron and Jordan comparison. LeBron's not as angry as Kobe and Jordan.
Skip Bayless, who was the biggest Jordan fan and the biggest LeBron hater, has used this documentary. Like, you see, here's the proof. Let's talk about the gambling. Now, what I love about one of my favorite things about this documentary is the director does a good job of showing contrasts. Jordan's like, I have no gambling problem, but we constantly see him gambling with security guards and playing golf and playing cards. And he does an interview with these giant hungover sunglasses on.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. I'd be homeless. I don't like.
You know how Jordan thinks. It's exactly like, if I got millions still in my bank account, how do I have a gambling problem?
You can have a gambling problem with millions in your bank account.
He don't think that.
No, that's how he rationalizes it. He rationalizes, as long as I'm not homeless, I can keep gambling all I want.
That's a pretty good excuse, and I loved it.
He ends up getting involved with some shady guys because of his gambling. I personally do believe Michael Jordan had no idea who those people were. Because as you see, even with his teammates and opponents, he didn't care who they were. He just wanted to beat them.
I know.
He didn't know who Slim was. Oh, he was a drug dealer. Oh, Esquinas was a loan shark. Mike was like, you got money, let's gamble. Let's go.
Exactly.
And also, the media was harassing him constantly over his gambling. Because one thing that is true about society, we love you until we can break you down. That is 100% true. True on everything.
Exactly.
That all happened around the same time. The media, my dad, his gambling. He probably was burnt out, but you retire. And also at the same time, Jordan did beat everybody. But retire, so why not just go hang out in Paris or Italy?
It doesn't make sense.
Play baseball in the minor league instead.
He wanted to make money.
He was making money.
He was suspended from the NBA by David Stern for gambling.
That is the rumor. And I personally think, yeah, because only because
he even says it. Like Michael Jordan's like, well, if David Stern lets me play, why would he say that?
I don't know about you, Mike, but when I retire, I'm retired. I go be free. I'm 30 with all these millions. I'm good. He goes into another sport. Because another thing, Jordan seemed like he wanted to get away from the media. The media was still on him when he was in baseball.
Very true.
Of all things to do, huh? He likes brown and beige suits. He never wore any blue or black.
That was like a 90s thing.
Yeah.
Was that kind of color. Because, Scottie Pippen used to, they used to come up in those tall, long, walking through those tunnels and hallways. They love that so much. They almost love that as much as they love basketball. And that little one hat that Jordan liked wearing too, that they said.
Yeah, he wore that French beret, and
that was cool when they went to Paris. I didn't know they went to Paris and did all that. That was crazy.
Most of my favorite lines in this documentary is from Michael Jordan. There's the Clyde Drexler line. Oh, he's like Michael Jordan from the West. And Jordan goes, Clyde was a threat, but was he as good as me? I took offense to that.
Exactly. That's exactly like how he did about Gary Payton.
You mean the scene of the documentary?
I was not worried about the glove.
I had no problem with the glove.
I had no problems with Gary Payton.
Hold on, Mike. It took a toll. Oh, notice
Gary Payton talks at time.
Almost all of his opponents, because Reggie Miller does the same thing, everyone's afraid of Mike, not me.
Reggie Miller was pretty aggressive.
So you have some trivia. Reggie Miller almost did not want to do the documentary because, it was all still so painful.
He hated Jordan that much?
Between 1970 and 2005, NBA players played the game aggressively and all hate each other. Now they're all tampering and all trying to.
2005? They still hate each other?
2005 is when LeBron comes in and for instance, Kobe they were calling Sacramento Queens in 2002.
True.
Episodes 9 and 10 are the most different of the Last Dance documentary. Episodes 1 through 8 is more the psychology.
The inside.
9 and 10 is here's how they play
basketball.
But it really shows Michael's like, okay, Scotty broke his back. Okay, be good.
He makes every play against a technically great Jazz team. Technically, no Scottie Pippen. Jordan, he's tired. No excuses. He wins the game. I didn't even realize what he was really doing in that game until I watched it. I was like, oh wow, the last 3 plays of the game, Michael Jordan. Because John Stockton hits that big 3, they go down by 3 with 40 seconds.
Yeah.
They go down by 3 with 40 seconds after Stockton hits that huge 3. It's like, oh man, the Jazz are about to win at home. Then Jordan gets that layup. Then he rips Karl Malone, man. That's the biggest play of the game. He rips Karl Malone. Mm-hmm. Phil Jackson doesn't even call a timeout.
Despite all Jordan's flaws, and this is why I want to get to him overall, this documentary makes him even more likable.
Yeah, to me. Because he's more relatable. He's not a Superman. He's not a god. Like, he's a regular guy, but was really, really good at basketball. But the reason why he was really, really good at basketball wasn't necessarily the most positive thing.
Yeah, it makes him more
human.
Yeah. Another thing, it makes him real. Like, I love that he says fuck in every sentence. I still is arrogant and childish. Because someone to do the things he did cannot be normal. Another main character is Scottie Pippen, who was pretty much everything Michael Jordan was not.
Correct. And Pippen's a really interesting character. And I think they go deep in him. Is that episode 2?
Yeah, episode 2.
Where you find out how underpaid he was and how Cross acted towards him, which we're going to get into Cross later, right?
Yeah.
Just how Cross acted towards him. And then just he's easily to be overlooked because of Michael Jordan. And because everything that Scottie Pippen pretty much has accomplishments is on alongside of Jordan, but Jordan's gonna get all the credit. But Scottie was petty too. Like, Scottie was pretty petty. I know, You heard him on some of the things, like where he did that weird thing with Tony Kukoc just because the play wasn't ran for him in 90, what was that, 94?
Yeah, 94.
Last shot, even though Kukoc makes it, and he was like, would I change it now? No. Like, I was like, what?
He's gotten a lot of hate for that recently. Scotty, rumor has not.
The fact that he said he wouldn't change that?
Yeah. Scotty has gotten a lot of hate in this documentary. He personally, rumor has it, does not like how he's been portrayed. I'm like, well, Scotty, these things did happen.
If it's true, it's like, yeah.
Yeah. You and MJ did beat up on Kukoc during the Dream Team because you were mad at Jerry Krause. Like, you did sit out on during that last play during the playoffs. That did happen. Scotty does get redemption at the final episode. Back broken. I'ma stay in and play decoy.
And play throughout it.
Yeah. For all his ego and narcissism, Jordan does acknowledge Scotty was my right-hand man. Dennis Rodman. Now, you and I...
Ooh, this is my favorite topic. He has a 30 for 30 on ESPN that I saw. It's an hour and a half long. I guess he said it's the longest one that they've ever had.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah.
And it's on. So after I saw that, I was able to understand Dennis Rodman and everything he ever did. Because this guy was homeless at age like 22. Like his mom kicked him out because he wasn't doing anything. And he was, at the time, he was only 5'9". He was homeless for 2 years.
That's true.
At age like 24, then he grows out of nowhere to 6'9". Then he starts playing street basketball. Then college people end up seeing him play street basketball. That's how he gets a scholarship.
I do like when he breaks down his rebound mentality, how he pretty much studies how they shoot. Magic might spin, Bird spins. I've never seen that before. When we think about defense, casual fans don't think about rebounds in that way, how it's like a science.
As science.
Like that Dennis did do that. Did you know about the suicide thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all in the documentary.
Oh.
So I knew about that. Like, yeah. And because if you watch the documentary, he goes deep on, like, Dennis Rodman was like Lamar Odom. Like,
that's a great example.
Lamar Odom, Meta World Peace, that kind of guy. He's very emotional. So he was very emotional when they ended up getting rid of that Detroit coach. He brought attention. But, if you watch the documentary, it's because of his lack of attention all throughout his life, even from his family and his mother and his, growing up until. So now, once he got big, he just wanted to party with whoever just liked him.
Phil Jackson. I do like Phil had this weird connection with Rodman. Because the way Phil acts, you'd think he would hate Rodman. No, they kind of bonded over their weirdness. I do like that. I didn't know Phil won rings with the Knicks. I didn't know that either.
I remember hearing that. Because the thing with Phil Jackson, for me with Phil Jackson, what I got from it is his coaching wasn't really about basketball, truly.
No.
It was about everything else.
It was
like a spirituality of the game.
He wasn't the babysitter. He was more of a conflict manager.
It was about managing them and how to get them all to connect and play together.
Management. Are you familiar with Elvis Presley's manager, the Colonel?
No.
The Colonel, Elvis had all these big ideas. I want to go on tour. I want to be a serious actor. The Colonel said, you're not doing any of that. I'm getting 50% of whatever you make. I can't go on tour because I have to do so. You're stuck in Vegas, and you can't leave me because you signed this contract. As great as Elvis Presley was, he had all these shady management issues. Same with the Bulls. If Michael Jordan have Nike, McDonald's, Wheaties, Gatorade, same thing. Krause comes off like the villain in this. I think Reinsdorf kind of gets a little off the hook.
Yeah, it's just because Krause has pretty much passed away that, he's an easy target. But, there's obviously a ringleader.
So I think Krause, even in the documentary, is an obvious scapegoat. I mean, he was wrong. Definitely.
Definitely he was wrong.
Problem. He definitely.
But he was just the face of the owner's communication.
Yeah. He was the Vader to Reinsdorf Emperor Palpatine.
Correct.
I love that Jordan and Pippen have these weird father issues with Krause. they kept trying to low-key seek his attention.
Yeah, it's true.
What are your thoughts on the Pistons as portrayed in the documentary?
The Pistons were like, oh man, they were ruthless. They were called the bad boys for a reason. They didn't play fair. They played, rough and tough. They want to beat you up. They want to be as physical as possible. And that's why it was interesting to me how Dennis Rodman was on both of those Pistons teams, which is like you kind of don't really think about until you kind of see this. But then how Isaiah Thomas doesn't shake Jordan's hand, and
you see how we like
the whole thing after they sweep him.
Yeah, they didn't even look at him.
Man, you're just being a poor sport. But Isaiah Thomas didn't realize that will still be affecting him. How many years later? 30.
The NBA loved Bird. They loved Magic, and you have these guys who play like the baseball team in Samurai Champloo with bats and knives and brass.
Yeah.
Like they didn't like how that played. Kobe Bryant. I teared up seeing him on there.
Yeah, it was sad to watch. But I'm glad that Jordan respected Kobe the way he did. He saw that he had the same kind of pedigree that he had. He saw that this guy's pretty much as crazy as me. He talks trash. He'll take on everybody. Kobe got in a fight with Shaq, and Shaq's huge because Kobe has that same
crazy mentality. Kobe was the Deku to Jordan's All Might. Only recently have we found out after Kobe's passing how close they actually were. They kind of kept that friendship a secret. We knew they talked, but we didn't know how close they were. Steve Kerr.
Which I was surprised they picked him to be like that spotlighted of a character.
Well, where Steve Kerr is in his career now is he's known as the famous coach for the Warriors. The Jordan Kerr fight is well known throughout sports history. And he does help them beat the Pacers. He seems to be the most human, probably next to Scottie, out of that whole interviewing crew. I like he has this low-key connection with Jordan. Both their fathers were murdered, which I didn't know. I love that he punched Jordan in the chest.
No, that's good. He stood up for himself and just like, man. But that made Jordan trust him. Like, oh, this guy will go at battle for. He's not. He's actually competitive. He won't let me just punk him. That means he wouldn't let another team punk him.
Yeah, that's why Jordan, which I do like, Jordan explained it. He wasn't a bully for bully's sake. Like, Jordan's idea was, if you can't get past me, you're not ready for everyone else. Pizzagate. The flu game turned out to be a pizza game. Do you think Michael Jordan was poisoned?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to think that. Obviously, with Michael Jordan, it was pizza delivery.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Michael Jordan said his name, or maybe he didn't. We never know.
When you think of The Last Dance or the Bulls or Michael Jordan, what did you take from this documentary?
Man, kind of like what I kind of talked about when we first got on. What I take overall is, there's no more questions about who's the greatest of all time is. After watching something like this, it's like, there's no question it's Michael Jordan now to the new generation who didn't get a chance to really see him. Because that's the main thing. It's like, older generations know, but, kids pretty much 30 and below, they know him, but, they don't know him.
Yeah.
They didn't watch everything about him. So this was solidifies like, oh, why he's greater than LeBron, why he's greater than Kobe, why he's, this guy. And then also just, for me, the main thing it's all about Michael Jordan for me personally.
There's a very Shakespearean aspect to this documentary. Scottie Pippen was the nice guy who didn't get any money. Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time, but his teammates hated him. There's an irony about it all.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I do love the reason why Michael Jordan's still popular now is the authenticity. Sorry, guys. No, I was not. I want to be like Mike. I'm this cigar chomping.
Yeah.
I say fuck all the time. I'm incredibly arrogant.
Hilarious.
But it's real. I'm going to probably go back to this documentary every couple of years, definitely.
For sure. It was, yeah, man. This is the greatest basketball player of all time. We'll never see nothing like this until we get like a Kobe one or a LeBron one, but it's still Jordan.
I think just to get my ESPN producer hat on, they made a killing off this documentary. We're gonna get the Kobe one. We're gonna get the LeBron one. We're gonna get the Shaq one. Will it ever be as epic? No.
Mm-hmm.
But why wouldn't you? That's it for us. Michael will definitely be back on. Sorry. Michael will definitely be back on the channel. So next time, stay frosty.
Bye, guys. 2020. The shoes came out in '85. These are 85. 85, and this shoe is still hot. It was just Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
Oh my god.